to the First television show, the show where we take a look at those all-important and unrepeatable first times in a top celebrity's life. Could be their first bad joke, their first near-death experience, or as women call him, Jim Davidson. My guest tonight has combined the worlds of science and comedy more effectively than Isaac Newton wearing a silly hat. He knows his sine from his cosine and never passes up an opportunity to throw a custard pie, or as he calls it, a custard 3.14159. He spent 17 years sending people through the round, square and arched windows, but was finally asked to stop brawling and leave the local pub. He's deeply proud of what his daughter Zoe has achieved on radio and television. He himself isn't on TV as much as he used to be, but to be fair, he's only extremely bitter about this. He's one of the few people who can meet with his entire family and say, blimey, what a load of balls. Please welcome the biggest ball of all, Johnny Ball! Lovely, see? All that for you. Take a seat. Thank you for joining us. Gosh, how exciting.
I'm so excited.
Now, Johnny, what are you proudest of in your huge but slightly narrow career?
Proud? I don't know. The Think programmes, I think, definitely, because we really broke new ground. And nobody's done it since, really.
What is the funniest number?
7. Don't you set me off there.
I love it. You did prove that maths can be a lot of fun with your programme Think of a Number. OK, so just try this. Think of a number. Double it.
I didn't think of a number. Yes.
You didn't think of a number?
I've got it.
For years, you've been saying to kids, think of a number.
I know. Well, they do it.
I never do it.
I never do it.
Oh, we'll do it now. For goodness sake, right, think of a number.
Yeah.
Double it.
Yeah.
Add 9.
Yeah.
Double it again.
Yeah.
Subtract 6.
Yeah.
Add 3.
Yeah.
Now, take away the first number you thought of.
Yeah.
Where is the fucking fun in that, Johnny? Where's the fun? It's boring!
I was so enthralled!
It's time to move on and celebrate the simplest number on this show, Johnny. It's your first. And it is your first gag. Now, as we said, everyone knows you as the man that made maths fun. But not everyone knows about your stand-up career. You did stand-up comedy, didn't you?
I was for about 17 years, yeah. I was all right.
You're getting a bag out. What's going on here? This is going to be your joke,
I wanted to be a comic when I was 11. I was 24 when I had the nerve to do my first act. I did one when I was 21 to my mates in the forces and died on my arse. But at 24, I got it together and I did my first act. Now, because I was so nervous, and patently nervous, I had this gag. And this gag, I opened my first act with. And basically, can I stand up?
Yeah, please,
and
do.
I would come on and say, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to, to begin tonight, I'd just, before I start, I mean, to get going, bag of nerves. You sweet lad. Thank you very much.
Oh, dear God.
Then,
you sucked me in there.
And then I either got a groan or a sympathy, and I went back, I calmed down, and came back and started with my next gag. I'm not feeling very well.
Did you have a break between each gag? No, you did a break between each gag.
No, that was it. Then they came thick and fast after that.
Why did you give up stand-up?
I didn't make it on television. I actually played television. I did the ITV Christmas Night Spectacular, hour-and-a-half show, which I compared in '67.
And you did a show in front of, is this right, 19-20 million people, is that right?
I did the Val Dunican. It was 19 million people live, yeah. And my agent was so considerate, he got me out of rehearsals. So I turned up at Shepherd's Bush Theatre, having not done rehearsals. And I sent the script to the director, and he said, come on, we'll have a coffee at 4 o'clock. The show was live at 7. And at 4 o'clock, about 20 past 4, he said, hello, Johnny, I've got your script here.
Just taking all...
Dear John Ammons, who produced the Morecambe and Wise. And he read the script while we were having a coffee, and he said, this isn't the script you did when you came to see me in the office. And I said, no, because then it was just an office, so I sat on the edge of the desk and did very nice, light jokes to make you laugh. I said, but now this is a major telly, so I've got to hit them between the eyes. I said, I don't like that gag, I don't like that gag, I don't like that gag.
Johnny, we're on Channel 4. We're on Channel 4. We can do what the hell we want. Absolutely. We can even say the F word, we won't do it now, because that'd be rude. But you can do that joke that was censored on the Val Dunican show right now, if you want. Can you remember any of the jokes that were censored?
No, it wasn't. you see, it's a different period, and there was a different character in those days, so I'm not sure the gag's that funny.
But
I'll do it.
that's sort of what we're hoping for. To be honest.
With pleasure. With pleasure. The gag I used to do, which I finished with, is a little lad who was crying. Shall I get up and do it? I can't do
Oh,
this.
come on. We want to see him do the gag. Wasn't allowed.
Yeah.
Don't we? For goodness sake. Come on.
I saw this little lad crying his eyes out. I said, why are you crying? He said, it's my birthday. And we're having a party. I said, you're having a party? Yeah. And there's balloons and trifle and all my mates are coming and there's a magician and it's going to be fabulous. And I said, well, why are you crying? He said, because I'm lost. And you see, it doesn't go as well. In those days,
I found it quite disturbing that close, to be honest. Now, enough of the jokes. She loves it. She absolutely loves it.
It's a good gag.
She's an old woman. Now, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm so apologies. You're lovely. You come home with me.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, enough. I'm just really sorry. That's very rude. But they'll cut this out. Enough of your jokes, Johnny. OK, Johnny, enough of the jokes. Let's move on to your next first. Your first presenting job. Ready to knock? Turn the lock.
Are they old enough, I asked myself.
What the... I know, I heard them rehearsing it. What's going on? Now, ready to knock? Turn the lock. Play school, you see. How did you end up doing that?
Well, I was asked to go for an audition, and I thought it was for Crackerjack because it's children's...
Crackerjack! What is wrong with you lot tonight? I do apologise, generation.
Which I felt I'd have been ideal for, but it wasn't. It was play school, and they said, oh, you're going to be very good in play school. And I said, what's that? They said, well, it's for under fives. It's at 11 o'clock in the morning on BBC Two. Well, nobody had BBC Two. It was the first 18 months of BBC Two. So nobody had it. So I thought, I could hide. And I could learn about television. So I actually took it, and I mean, it's a passing thing. I only lasted 17 years.
Let's have a look at one of your first ever appearances on the innovative and daring
They
play
weren't
school.
all that well written.
You said they were.
Want some cream?
Yes, please. They're lovely. Lots of them, too. They're delicious.
That's such a lot.
Do you like strawberry? I do.
Eat them up, Humpty. I think you'd be ill on the way home.
There was millions.
What was that, Jemima? Jemima says, why don't we sing a song about strawberries? Oh, the song about going to Strawberry Fair? We'll sing it, and you join in with us. As I was going to Strawberry Fair, singing buttercups and daisies, I met a maiden taking her ware folded-ee. Her eyes were blue and golden her hair as she went on to Strawberry Fair. Rifle, rifle, folded-ee, rifle, rifle, folded-ee.
Now, I can tell you the story.
It may have had integrity, but it was crap. Come on. What was going on there?
I can tell you the whole story. We were at Marsh Lock on the Thames
Yeah.
on an OB. It was the first time they'd ever done an OB. Marla couldn't read, couldn't sing, and Marla couldn't remember a script. So she had a script.
Marla wasn't very good, was Marla?
She had a script. Marla had a worldwide wig business, Marla Wigs, and she was worth an absolute fortune. She was the one there with the gold Rolex in those days, right? That was Marla.
Marla Wigs.
But right, so her script was stuck in a hat, so she would say, oh, it's so hot. What I'm going to tell you about today, we went on there, and I had no clue whatsoever. We had no rehearsal, and I didn't know how that was going to go. And we were told, Just keep going, just ad lib, and we'll start the music. The music never came.
Is it true that an assistant floor manager once said, after you asked him how did it go after your first show, do you want me to be really honest, Johnny, you were fucking diabolical?
That was the first week. That was the first week I ever did it.
Listen, I say they were fantastic days. I love them. We managed to catch up with some of your play school crowd, and they sent messages through to you tonight. So first of all, let's have a look at the message through the round window.
Johnny is a very generous person to work with because he believed in putting the children first. He believed in communicating with them and leaving them a legacy which they could take into adulthood to pass on to their children. So I feel very privileged to have been part of that generosity. Johnny, you're wonderful.
The beautiful Floella Benjamin there. Johnny, it doesn't stop there. Let's have a look through the square window so we can drag up from the past.
Johnny Ball, the one and only, the number one, Johnny Ball. I take my hat off to you, sir. The first stand-up comedian to hit play school, and did they know what had hit them?
What was it like working with the biggest cat on TV?
He's lovely,
I
Brian.
didn't know he'd become an evil wizard there, as that looks like.
That was, yeah.
That was Brian Cannon, of course, fantastic, a legend. And finally, we managed to track down a particularly special friend from the play school days. This is for you, Johnny. Let's have a look through the arched window.
Well, I worked with Johnny for 17 years, and I can safely say that in all those years, I never came across as a complete and utter cunt.
Why are you down there, Jemima?
Enough play school for the moment.
Thank God for that.
Let's move on to your next first. It's this one that gets every week. The first time you set fire to Fat Boy Slim. Now, some people welcome their son-in-law into the family with open arms, whereas you actually tried to incinerate him.
Notice the first time.
Yeah.
Keeps him on his toes.
Exactly.
Right?
That's good work.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Right. It was last Christmas before last, right? And they'd had the house fitted out, and there was loads of wood everywhere. Big 4x2s and everything like that. So...
Already it sounds a recipe for disaster.
So they built a bonfire on the beach, and on Christmas Day, we decided to light the bonfire. So they went and scattered petrol on it and lit, and it looked great as the petrol was burning, but they hadn't built it very well. You see, I know about these things, and I tell them. So it went out. So we rearranged it, and I rearranged it, and now he brought another can of petrol, and I said, just splash it on, it's going to be fine now. Yeah, just over here. And he splashed it on an ember, and of course it caught fire, and it went up on his arm, and his arm was on fire, and he's still holding the can of petrol. Somebody comes up and said, oh, Norman, you've got your... And he is now on fire. And I'm saying, drop the can, roll on the floor. Zoe is on the balcony with Woody going, oh, my God! Really, he threw the can on the floor, one scuff, and that was out. And there's me and my son Nick saying, roll on the bloody floor! And of course he just rolled on the floor and he wasn't hurt.
I mean, it was fine.
And that was it, yeah.
What number were you thinking of then? 999 or something? Was that the one that sprung to mind? Okay, well, it's enough of you destroying yourself. Join me after the break when I'll be hearing more of Johnny Ball's first, including the first time he dressed up and invited loads of people to look through his square window. Luckily, he was released without charge. Television show where I'm talking to the man whose eyebrows could thatch a Dorset village and who's officially more enthusiastic than a pissed-up monkey in a brothel full of chimps. Mr. Johnny Ball. Johnny, thank you for sticking with us. Yes, you, sir. Now, let's move on straight away without any further ado to your next first. Your first inspiration. I'm talking about the person who inspired you to go into comedy. Was it W.C. Fields, Charlie Chaplin, Tommy Cooper, one of the greats?
When I was 14, I went to Butlins, and there's a redcoat house captain was Desperate O'Connor. Des O'Connor.
And he was doing comedy?
And he was wonderful. Yeah, he was wonderful. He was starting out as a comic then. And you can tell, obviously, he's a few years older than I am. And so I thought, I'll do that. I was 14. So I thought, I'll do that. So 8 years later, I then went to Butlins and did exactly the same. Yeah.
Now, is it you bumped into him as well and said, oh, you're a bit of inspiration. What happened there?
He ignored me.
He did what?
Yeah, he ignored me in the gents at the BBC.
Oh, well,
Perhaps he should use it, perhaps
he was having a
it's
dump.
better to...
You don't know. It wasn't the gents.
I waited till we both washed our hands.
Right,
and I
no,
said-
fair enough.
yeah,
And he just ignored you?
He said, oh, right. Yeah, and that was that.
And then what
Which was a bit
happened
disappointing.
when... Then you actually went on his show as a guest, didn't you?
Oh, look, behave.
Come on, what?
Listen,
You
all
can
right,
tell
it's
us
true.
this.
And I told the researchers that story. And when we did the show, I'm waiting for the story, and the story never came out. Because obviously it would show his age. So he wouldn't have the show on the show. He wouldn't have the gag on the show. But when it had finished, he said, go on, tell the audience that story.
Oh, no, nice one.
I
Cheers,
can
Des.
tell the audience in the studio, but not the general public.
Johnny, let's move on to your next first. Your first comedy numbers. Now, when did you find that numbers could be so much fun?
It was when I was at school. I just loved numbers. You know, we got homework, and they say, here's a sheet of 100 sums, do 10, and I would do the 100.
Let's take a look at you in the very first think of a number.
And he thinks, 1, it's a good name for a number. So he then says to Grotto, he says, listen, Grotto, why don't you break your leg in two? And Grotto says, for what? And he says, for free, for free arrowheads, and gives Grotto some arrowheads. And Grotto looks down and says, what are these for? And he says, 4? And realises that he's given him one too many because he's nervous. So he says, they're for you, sort of a favour, you see, in exchange for a handful of meat. And Grotto says, if you want a handful of meat, take that, boom, and he hits him in the nose. Oh, he says, a bunch of 5s. And he slinks back to his corner. I'm all at 6s and 7s, he says. Never mind. I ate yesterday. And 9 times out of 10, they leave some scraps. What I gave up for Lent was rehearsal.
No, sorry, that's either a brilliant piece of education or a man making up the history and origin of numbers.
As I went along.
Yes. How many think of numbers did you do in the end, do you know?
We did 7 series, I think.
I've seen nearly all of your experiments, and I've kind of wanted to either be in one or at least be in the very periphery as one of your experiments is happening. Do you think we could do an experiment here? Would that be possible?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, let's come through to the fun lab then.
Okay.
Come on then. We'll go through the fun lab. You've got props and everything, sir. This is exciting.
I need an assistant to assist as well as yourself.
Another
all right?
assistant. Okay, lovely.
Yeah. How we go from the audience? Yeah. Here she comes.
Come on then. Hi there.
Hello. What's your name?
Nicola.
Nicola. Hello, Nicola. This is painless. Or it should be.
We're in the fun lab where...
Hold the ring. Right, and you've got a ring there. All right. Now hold that up. I want them at an angle. I want this down a bit. That's right.
I've got a hold of your ring. Let's hold it tightly.
Behave yourself.
Sorry.
Yeah, sir. Keep your hand up there.
Yes, sir.
Right. What we've
I've
got...
got 9. I will actually deck you.
What have we got? You won! I've got the weapon. Now, Luke...
Right, I'm sorry. It's all getting out of hand. It's all kicking off between me and Ball.
Right. You hold the ring with one hand.
Got it.
Hold that out with the other hand. Right.
Tickle me.
This is called a mesolade, right? A man called Eratosthenes 2,000 years ago in Greece told us about this. You're right. Right.
Sorry.
Okay. It's an incredible thing. And then another man called René Descartes discovered it.
Does this get interesting at any point, Johnny?
Very soon, right. This device is amazing. Just 2 rulers. That's all you need. With 2 rulers,
And
you can
2 big
multiply.
bits of rope with lots of
Shut
glue.
up! Whose show is it? Oh, it's yours.
No,
With
please.
2 rulers, you can multiply any 2 numbers, divide any 2 numbers, or even find the square root of a number. How? Well, you got 2 rulers, right? Try centimetres, 2 rulers. What you do, say you want to multiply 3 times 4, you go 1, 2, 3 on the top line, and on the bottom line you go 1.
To make this more relevant to kids today, instead of rulers, could they use crack pipes and Pokemon cards?
No, they can't. You've got to use rulers. Right. When you draw a line through the picture, through 1 and the 3, you've got a picture 1, 3. Because it's a picture, you can't mistake it. It makes maths simple. That's the thing. Make maths simple. You got 1, 3. You want 4 3s. So what you do is you draw a parallel line through the 4 on the bottom line. Will you keep that up, please?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Keep it up. Yeah, I know you're not used to that kind of thing.
No.
Right. Hold it still. Okay. Right, now hold it still because when I make them parallel, the top this ruler going through this stick going through the 4 here.
Get on with it, old man!
1, 2, 3, 4. It's there. Should pass through the 3, 6, 9, 12. It works with 2 rulers perfectly. And what you've got, 2 times 4 is 12.
Thanks so much. Sit down. I'm really sorry about that. A lot of fun in the laboratory there. Now, Johnny, let's have a look at your final first. Your first big noise involves you slapping skin and getting all sweaty. I'm talking about drumming, ladies and gentlemen. Why the drums?
The drums played a big part of my life because I wanted to get into show business. And I realised that I'd already been collecting jokes since I was 11. But I was now 16, 17, and I was getting nowhere near. I was still very nervous. Play the drums. Get in the show business as a drummer? Right, I'll do that. So I started teaching myself drums.
You also had a very successful record, which I think, an album which sort of nudged the top of the chart, or the edge of the charts. Do you have any idea what that might be?
There's a very big seller. Yeah.
We've got, well, this, I don't know if this is the one you're thinking of. This is the record we're talking about. It's Bang on a Drum, songs from Play School and Play Away, featuring such classic hits as I Think I've Caught a Gold, the Israeli Boat Song, and, of course, Building Up My House, sung by you, Johnny B, as you build on the back. And there's a picture of all the team there, and there's Brian Cant. I've got to say, the coolest picture of Brian Cant you will ever have seen. Ladies, let's have some ladies. And where's Johnny B on this?
All these pictures were supposed to be around the clock, or around the drum, looking in. That's why we're all looking at odd angles.
I see.
And I was at 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. Now, what was the story behind this? This must have been a lot of fun making this.
It was a lot of fun. The title song was written under the influence of illegal substances.
You're joking. That's such a cliche thing to say that these old Play School things were written under drugs, but they actually were.
A guy called Rick Jones.
Rick Jones, that name rings a bell.
Who wrote, "Bang on a drum with your thumb. It's enough if you don't know how. Just to cool off your fevered brow to the rhythm of a drum."
Oh, those drums. In celebration of your skills as a drummer, we have put together a drum and bass outfit that would have Fatboy Slim coming in his trousers. Would you please welcome Big Ted on big drum, Little Ted on cymbals, and who's that on the middle drum? It's Humble the Carnival. Scary. Johnny, I tell you what, it looks so much fun. Let's go and join the Scary Dolls through here into Scary Doll Corner. Take a corner over there. My thanks to math magician and legend Johnny Ball for thinking up a number of firsts for us tonight. We're going to go, but before we do, take it away, Johnny and the Dolls from Hell.
On a brick, and I build up my house so high. Put a brick on a brick, then I can just remember this, and my house will grow so high. With a slurp and a slurp and a slurp, slap, slurp, and 4 walls soon they'll be. Put a roof on the top and a chimney pot, and a very fine house you'll see. Ta-da. Lots of work.